they're getting suspended sentences. How can you figure that out? There was a one over in Gateshead, his second time, and he's been given another suspended sentence. Yet, like I've mentioned this before, a lot of these protesters never been to prison in their life. The ones that were putting posts on Facebook, being fast-tracked into prison and given up to 3 years, and they've never been to prison in their life. So you get these nonces that can't be rehabilitated, they'll never change the preference, that's just what they're into, the fucking sickos. Like any normal man fancies women, women fancy men, these sickos fancy kids. So you're never going to change that. It's like saying to a straight person to stop fancying the opposite sex and go with the same sex. It's just not going to happen. So yet they're getting caught on numerous occasions, and time after time they're given suspended sentences. They don't get a sentence until they physically harm the kid. What the fuck is going on with that? The first time anyone like that, like someone just put on there, Hugh Edwards, a high profile figure, give him a suspended sentence, that should have been a time for them to make an example, like they did with the protesters, because they didn't want any more protesting. Make an example of them so they'll stop other people from doing it, which it did. So make an example of Hugh Edwards, then the rest of the fucking nonsense will think twice. So, what does that tell you? So, oh, we must have a fucking bacon in because he's coming on saying liar. I'm not lying about anything I'm talking about. This is all facts. The bacons are getting away with suspended sentences. As soon as anyone gets done for a crime like that, they should immediately, whether it's just looking at it online, they should immediately be sent to prison. See, it's a prison channel, it's a green screen, it attracts the viewers when you're flicking through the live, that's probably why you're still watching it. But I do lives every day with me green screen on. My YouTube channel, I've got a screen in the background, so it's a prison screen, because it's a prison channel talking about prison topics. So, wobble your head, says I, they're pure fucking wrong-uns, mate. Right, I'm going to get that one up. Gateshead. So, it says Gateshead. Oh, 2 seconds rather. Gateshead pervert caught with child. What I've just mentioned, I have to be careful because it'll flag up on here. So Thomas Copeland of Berkeley, who was sentenced for indecent images offences in 2013, has been back in court for similar offences. He's been caught with images again, and he's received, so it says here, police went to Thomas Copeland's home on January the 14th, 2022 after receiving intelligence about the use of a mega cloud storage account. A source of the cloud account revealed 183 Category A images and 1,255 Category B images, videos, 309 Category B images. So he's got thousands upon thousands, and he's been given a suspended sentence. Alright, mate.
Alright.
And that's the second time he's been up for that. So how the fuck can he get a suspended sentence for doing something like that? So it says here he was sentenced to 22 months suspended for 2 years with a £100 fine. He will also be subject to a sexual harm prevention order for 10 years and has to sign the sex offenders register. For all those thousands upon thousands of images and videos of the most severe category, and he's been given a suspended sentence, same as Hugh Edwards. Where is the fucking sense in all that? But this is what I'm exposing on this channel and on my YouTube, all the fucking nonces that are getting away with stuff like this. I'm exposing probation, exposing bent coppers, because there's no, or there is other channels talking about stuff like this, but a lot of people are scared to speak up in case they get sent to prison. Obviously when I was on my IPP license I didn't fucking speak up as much about it, but now I'm no longer on it. I'm on it all the time, talking about the injustice, what's happening with IPPs, probation, and I'm obviously a voice for these victims. There's a lot of victims of these crimes being in touch with us, asking us to talk about it and speak up for them, give them a voice, the ones that have been abused as kids, and then these fucking beasts are getting suspended sentences. Now, there was a one I done on my channel a while back, wait, not even a while back, a couple of months ago, who got a suspended sentence, who actually, it was around about 15 years ago, he done it to a young child, like full on SA to a young child. She's now grown up and she's older, and she's built up the courage to go to the police, take him to court. She's had to stand trial to get him convicted. He was convicted of this in court, of a hairy ape, convicted. Then, believe it or not, he was given a suspended sentence. Imagine how hurt that young lass, well, she's turned into a woman now, but imagine how hurt she must be, knowing that she's plucked up the courage to take him to court, stood up against him in court, and then he's been given a suspended sentence. And the reason was, believe it or not, this was back in December when the prisons weren't at maximum capacity. The judge said, had it not been for the overcrowding crisis, without a doubt, you would be going to prison. Wow, what does that say? Then all these protests was fast-tracked and there was plenty of spaces for them. So what an excuse that was. Overcrowding, so you're not going to prison. We're going to give you a suspended sentence. He didn't actually just look at things, he actually did a hairy on that young girl when she was under the age of 13. He was 15 at the time, but he's been given a suspended sentence. But then if you come up and speak, you might not even commit a criminal offence where it is classed as it now. Come online and talk about things, you're in fear of going to prison for freedom of speech. Obviously a lot of people that were sent to prison were talking a bit more than just freedom of speech, so we're going a bit overboard, but all they had to be given was the suspended sentence and probation. That would have shut them up, they would have shit themselves. They didn't have to put them in prison like Peter Lynch, who killed himself, 60-odd-year-old man, never been to prison in his life, been given 2 years, 8 months for shouting at the coppers, been put in prison, never harmed anybody. There's no physical violence, there was no emotional violence either, because the coppers are used to standing on the front line getting griefed. So they wouldn't have went and had sleepless nights. But that girl would have. Them victims of sex crimes would have, who are getting suspended sentences. But someone like Peter Lynch, never been in trouble in his life, speaks up in protests, gets sent to prison, and doesn't, obviously can't handle the jail, so he's ended up killing himself inside of prison. So Tracy, safe space for survivors, says I'm a victim. And I bet you any money, Tracy, you appreciate us doing these type of videos, exposing people, being a voice for you lot that haven't got a voice. Well, you have, but you've been, or you haven't been heard by the system. You've been let down by them, and these fucking nonces are going scot-free or getting minimal sentences. So another topic I will speak about, since I've just been talking about that there. The sentences that dealers are getting for supplying Class A's or in the double figures. I'm talking like into the 20s, 20 odd year for supplying. But there is that saying, a lot of, obviously there's a big debates about it, but people ask for, I'm not going to say that because TikTok, if you use the word D-R-U-G-S, people ask for narcotics. People don't ask to be raped. So why do dealers get massive sentences like that, the equivalent of life sentences, even longer than murderers, but yet these S offenders get minimal sentences? People ask for drugs. People don't ask to be raped. And that is one of the fucking most strongest sayings ever. If you are wanting narcotics, you're wanting something, it's all about supply and demand. People go and get it when they want it. You're not forced to get it. It's on your own free will. So when people are victims of these S offenders, they don't ask for it. It's taken from them. They've took the dignity, and then they've got no remorse. They don't get fucking jailed, or they get minimal sentences. Then people that have been supplying get 20s up to 30 years in jail. Mental. All to do with money, because the government aren't getting any money from it. Obviously they die off the proceeds of crime, so they're getting punished twice, them lot. But it's just what's going on at the minute, and I'm talking about all of this on my channel, just exposing it all. And me followers like yourselves, if you're all new to this now, hit the subscribe button, go onto my YouTube channel. I've got no hidden agendas. I just talk about straight facts, what's going on, pardon me, and speaking up about the fact about what's happening with the fucking system. So little Connie says, say grape. I will do. That's what I see on my YouTube channel. It says, because in prison they're called hairies. The S offenders, hairy ape equals, and what was the other ones? Bacon bonds equals nonce. But yeah, there was I'll just talk about another one, but he actually was from up this way as well, Blythe. Right, where's that? Yeah, I'll change the words obviously, because like I say, I've built my channel up like this. I've got 60 odd thousand subscribers on here now, 70 odd thousand on my YouTube channel, and I would hate for it to be took down for using them words. But like I say, I don't, I'm careful what I say. So here it is. He's called Daniel Devlin, was jailed for 4 years and 9 months. I'm not even going to say what he was doing because it'll fucking... So I've got my computer up in front of us here, and I'm going to be reading off here, but it says it was actually a decoy, one of those things set up. So it says Daniel Devlin, 38, thought he was messaging a mother, selling her children for when he would do anything to them. I'm not even going to read into it because I don't want the channel to flag up, but you can get me drift. This is his second time as well, and he's been given 4 years in prison. If he was speaking to a real person and he was going to act out these things, what he was talking about, what do you think that would have caused? Fucking a lot of these victims of them type of offenders go on to kill themselves because they can't carry on with what's happened to them, and they're getting them shitty little sentences. 4 years, like I've been mentioning before about these getting their suppliers getting massive sentences, and someone like that who was going to do heinous crimes, a bit like that Lost Prophet singer, what was he called? I've done videos on him before. Yeah, fucking hell, can't think off the top of my head. He got a massive sentence, which he should have gotten something similar to that, because it sounded as though he was trying to do the same sort of thing. And what was his name again? A fucking lead singer of the Lost Prophets. Watkins. He got a massive sentence. Not long enough, but this fella from up in Blythe, Daniel Devlin, has been given 4 years and 9 months for trying to do Ian Watkins similar offences to him, and he's been given that. He'll do 2 years, probably get the early release, get out on tag. But this sicko, if you go online, if you want to read it yourself, I can't read it out because it's too graphic. Daniel Devlin from Blythe, type it in. Absolute sicko, and he's been given 4 years and 9 months when he should have been given life without parole. That's what these bacons deserve. That's why when they get done in inside of prison, Ian Watkins, he got done in prison. He was actually tortured in a cell for fucking 4 hours inside of Full Sutton. Well, lads, alright?
Alright. Cheers.
Do you want to rock around? Yeah, water?
No, alright.
Just a water, alright?
Shut up in here.
Oh, so good. Nice one.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Back, people, I'm back. So, just talking about, like I say, them bacons getting small sentences compared to others, it's fucking fucked up. But if you are still watching at this point, people, whack away on them likes. Start hitting that like button, it gets the algorithm up, so next time you do lives and things, you get more people in. And obviously if you're enjoying the content, hit away, people. Right. So someone's Toe Beans, Toe Beans, funny old name that, says, what are your views on Strangeways and its recent unfit notice? Well, to be honest with you, all the prisons that are having inspections at the moment, more so the local prisons like Strangeways, which are, 2 seconds, which are old Victorian jails, are unfit for purpose because they are overcrowded and they're that old. Like Durham prison is unfit for purpose. It is working at 180% capacity, just like Strangeways, Wandsworth, all the old Victorian prisons. So Pete saying HMP Manchester, you mean that Manchester is Strange Ways, everyone just calls it. It's always been known as Strange Ways. But on Pentonville, unfit for purpose, all these old Victorian prisons are overcrowded. They're designed for one person in the cells. Some of them have actually got up to 3 people in a one-man cell. And they are unfit for purpose for the simple fact that they're overcrowded, understaffed, and the rat-infested shitholes. The fucking stench when you walk into them type of prisons is just fucking unreal. The smell, some of them, obviously some of the wings, the smell of dirt when you walk in, and then the smell of like disinfectant off when obviously the cleaners are cleaning the land, and that smell hits you when you walk in. Tony says, oh well, they're not hotels. They're not hotels, the migrants have got better fucking facilities. So, someone saying, when did you get released? I was released in January 2021, coming up to 4 years soon. And my license, IPP license, has just been terminated about 6 weeks ago. So Michelle says, why are they building more or newer prisons? Is it because of the cost? They don't. So obviously the reason why they're building more prisons and newer prisons is because of the overcrowding situation, and a lot of them that are unfit for purpose will be getting closed down. So Helen says, have you been in HMP Wealdstone? I've never been in Wealdstone. I've been in all the prisons up in the northeast apart from the category D. I've never been into Kirklev, but I've been to Castleton when it was young offenders, then into Durham prison, then over into HMP Frankland, then back up to HMP Castleton where I was released. Then when I went back in, I was back into Durham and then Home House prison. So 5 prisons are done on that sentence. Whoop, looking off. TikTok cop. So someone's just put on, what made you choose the prison life? Obviously, growing up in the areas that you grew up in, rough neighbourhoods, everyone's into trouble, quite deprived areas, not a lot to do, getting into bother as a kid, all the people that you looked up to, role models and different things, or what you thought were role models had all been to prison, all used to brag about prison, talk about it, glamorise it. So obviously as a kid, you looked up to that sort of thing, and ultimately that's where you end up when you're brought up around it like that. Someone says, what were you in for? I was in for violence. My crimes has always been violence, fighting, but taking it to the extreme. And obviously the IPP, I used a weapon. But I've been out, never committed any more offences. 2019 when I got recalled for a car offence. But I was released in 2010 initially on my IPP, which obviously was 14 years ago now. Nina says, have you ever unalived someone? Nope, never done nothing like that. What's that say? Have you come?
Messaging everyone and all you. Aye. And for them, got the system somehow there.
You want a minute?
That's just the day.
Where are you? Cheers, mate.
Just for the day, please, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Sorry, I just got disturbed there. I'm actually at work at the minute, not really in prison. I'm at work in my gym, in my office, serving people still. So if I do have to go off, that's why. So Tony says, have you come close to going back, lost your temper but managed to hold yourself back? Well, actually, it happened about 2 months ago. The lad that I was in prison for doing the IPP, bearing in mind, this lad brought the trouble to me, battered me sister, threatened me down the phone, so I went to him and done him in, got grassed up, went and got IPP, and then 2 months ago, a week before me parole hearing, because I had a parole hearing out here to get my licence terminated, I bumped into him in the street and he started giving us grief. This is supposedly a victim, my victim, who obviously went on like he did the last time, then I fucking reacted, done him in. So now when I've bumped into him in the local high street, he started giving us abuse in the street, fucking shouting at me, calling us names. But I had a hearing a week after, so obviously I had to bite my tongue and walk away. So that was one of the biggest challenges in my life, bumping into someone like that and fucking griefing us in the street. So Tony says, and what if that meeting had happened after your hearing? Well, if that had happened, or if that happens now, and someone's in my space, in my personal space, obviously I cannot say because I'm not inciting violence on this channel, but believe you me, I wouldn't have bit me tongue like I did then. If someone's coming up to me, someone like that, griefing me, provoking me, obviously I wouldn't react and use a weapon like I've done in the past, but I'll leave that to your imagination. What would you do, Tony? I would like to hear your thoughts. What's your thoughts on something like that? Or anyone else in the comments, what's your thoughts on a situation like that? Definitely defend yourself as you get older and more mature. You therefore let more things slide. Like I say, I've got too much in my life now to let some muppet like that try and bring me down. Obviously that's what he was wanting. He was wanting for me to react to him so then he could run to the coppers again and I'd be sitting back inside. But I wouldn't give time of day to worthless pieces of shit like that who were going around, by the way, robbing folk who were making an honest living, robbing the fucking work tools out the vans, robbing old people on the smack, and that's what they're doing, and that's what he was wanting for me to react so he could put us back inside like he did on that occasion. But I've got too much, got my own business, a wife, 4 kids, living my best life. Some waster like that isn't going to disrupt my life. So to be honest with you, Tony, if it happened again, I'll probably do the same thing. Tell him to fuck off and just walk away. I've already suffered in my life because of him. Obviously it was my actions, what I'd done to him afterwards, but see you in a bit, Tony. Nice one for calling in. Hit the subscribe button, go on my YouTube channel if you're not already on. So someone's saying there, my daughter got recalled for being rude to staff in the AP, which is in the hostel. So that's what people have got to deal with. They get put in hostels or get put with probation who talk to them like shit. If you react, sometimes they want you to react, so they've got an excuse to recall you. But if you react in that manner, they fucking issue your recall back to prison. Not for committing any further offences, but just for... So Gypsy is coming on saying he's not locked up. Everyone watching the live now knows I'm not locked up. Nah, it's a green screen, it's a prison channel. So what about like probation and people in the staff in hostels? If they don't like you, they want you back inside, so they will get you to react, and all you've got to do is tell one of them to fuck off, and then that's it. They'll issue your recall, and if you're IPP, you'll go back to prison and you could be sitting in there for years on end. So Jams says, I don't agree with you, bro. On what point? So little Corin says, I'll mod for you. I don't know how I add you as a mod actually. I'll try. Oh, there we go. There we go. Got you on. Followed you back. So there we go. Little Connie. Got you on as a mod. Thank you very much. So he says, no one can recall you if you don't breach your license. So if you tell a staff in a hostel to fuck off, or you tell your probation officer and you're having a disagreement with them, you can get breached on bad behaviour. So yes, you can get recalled for that. You don't even have to commit an offence. If you have a disagreement with your probation and they don't like you, they'll just put down bad behaviour and put you back in prison. It's that easy. So Jam's the same, so why tell them to fuck off? If you're in a hostel and you're not doing anything and they're getting on your case, winding you up, and you're having a bad day, and then they say something to you and you react, even you don't have to tell them to fuck off, you just say, you just turn round and you, like anything on a normal day-to-day basis, if people annoy you, you just fucking, you might say, oh fuck off and walk away. You can't tell me you've never done that before. Right people, I'm going to Boris do about another 5 minutes and then wrap it up for today. So Jams is coming on again, but you're not getting the drift though. You put your same, but then you set yourself up to get recalled. I'll give you an instance where you can get recalled, where probation provoked me loads of times. Obviously I know what you're saying because I didn't react. But a lot of people who've got mental health problems, people that have got mental health problems where they react and they react without thinking, people can't control it. But so you've got someone who's got ADHD or a fucking mental health illness and they turn around and fucking act aggressively like that, they'll say, right, you've acted in an aggressive manner, you're going back to prison. But that aggressive manner is just a minute of madness, which you can calm the situation down. But probation don't calm the situation down. They provoke it and keep antagonising you till you explode. Then they'll say, right, you're going back to jail. So Mark says, what do you think about Tommy Robinson being locked up for 18 months? Now, obviously this is another controversial topic. A lot of people are fucking afraid to talk about it. I've done a couple of videos on my channel. Me personally, I think it's a fucking absolute piss take putting him in Belmarsh for 18 months where he's going to be coming into contact. Obviously they're keeping him down on a segregation unit, but if he bumps into other people, which you know what I'm talking about, then it's going to go off. People are going to try and attack him. But a lot of people haven't looked into it properly. They're listening to what the mainstream media is saying about Tommy Robinson, and they're believing it about what happened with the Syrian boy. If you look into it properly, if you watch that film, the documentary that he done, if you go and watch the podcast that he done with Jordan Peterson, which has had millions of views, you will see a different side of the story, and it opens up your mind and you're thinking, for fuck's sake, he was actually telling the truth and he's been sent to prison for it. So there we go. That was my thoughts on that. So a lot of people like to say in there, haven't watched Sky News or BBC News for years because they talk absolute shit and they only put on what they want you to see. When they had that march at the weekend, right, there was just been a march down in London. Hundreds of thousands of people in the streets. No trouble whatsoever, a peaceful march, and it wasn't on the mainstream news. Why was that? Because it was peaceful. But it was videos all over YouTube, of YouTubers putting videos on, and you did actually see the police were trying to antagonise the crowd to cause disruption, which didn't happen, but it wasn't on the news, was it? So that Big Dave says, is that the one Liam Tuff hosted? That's correct. And they're all portraying them as racists. But did you see how many people were standing outside the courts and standing outside the police station for Tommy? And they were from all different ethnicities. So if he was racist, why would they be there watching and cheering him on? But the public, the mainstream media don't want the public to know any of this, for the simple fact that he's getting a lot of attention and people are listening to him. Obviously he's got a past and he's done things that people don't agree with, but now he's standing up for what he believes in and he's being persecuted for it. So someone's saying he's not even called Tommy. Everyone knows he's not called Tommy, but everybody knows him by that, and he used that name because obviously it's more of a name that you would remember. So Jams is saying, what were the Muslims like in jail? The Muslims were alright in prison unless you had trouble with them, like it is with any organisation, or not that they're an organisation, but I mean any gang in prison, because they are classed as a gang now, especially in the high security prisons. But if you've got trouble with them, then you bang in bother, believe you me, because the Muslims have got a stronghold on the high security prisons, and anyone that's been in them prisons that tells you fucking facts will tell you that they have, and if you've got bother with them, well, you're in serious shit, believe you me. Right, people, I'm going to wrap this up now because I've been on for quite a while rather. So Jams, where are you from and have you been in prison? Because you seem to know a bit about prison and you're obviously asking certain questions. Right, people, I'll be back on tomorrow morning for another live. So I'm going to leave that one there. Hope you all enjoy your day. Stay safe. Watch what you're doing. Keep out of trouble. Keep out of these places. And I will. So Jam says, yes mate, I did 14 years behind the door, got out with all these perceptions about hostels and probation. So obviously you'll have had all that to deal with yourself, but obviously if you're a straight-minded person and you know how to keep your mind calm when you're in these situations, then you will get on alright. But take care everyone, stay safe.